Okay, we'll call this meeting of the Guam Election Commission to order. It is 5:30, Thursday, January 18th, 2024, and we are located here at the Guam Election Commission conference room at the Oka building here in Tamuning. We're also live streamed on the GEC website at gec.guam.gov/board. Quorum is present. Myself, Jerry Crisostomo, Chairman. I'd like to introduce Commissioner Tony Gumatauto, Commissioner Benny Panala, Commissioner Joseph Mapanas, Commissioner Ricky Orsini, and Commissioner Joe Meno. Excuse absence, Commissioner Patrick Seville. Also present is our legal counsel, Vince Camacho, and our executive director, Maria Pangilinan. Certification of public notice requirements, Maria?
Sir, they were published in the Guam Daily Post and our Guam Public Notice website on January 10th and January 12th.
Okay, let's go to the approval of the agenda. The next item there, election of vice chair. If there's no objection, I would prefer that we table that item until we get a full commission present, which will include the independent member, Pat Seville. So I don't know if there's any objection. I'd like a motion to table that matter until Pat Seville attends, so we have a full commission present at the time.
Motion so moved.
Okay, motion to table that election of vice chair to our next meeting. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Joseph Mafanas. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay. We'll go on to the approval, back to the approval of agenda again. Motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agenda.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Panala to approve the agenda, seconded by Commissioner Tony Gumatauto. All those in favor, say aye. Oppose? Item 5, approval of minutes. There are 3 minutes, the November 16th, and we had to reconvene that meeting because we were so rudely interrupted by the power outage. So we reconvened on December 21st, and then that was also our regular monthly meeting on the 21st. So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes subject to corrections.
I so move.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Joseph Mafanas to approve the minutes of the meeting subject to corrections. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Commissioner Tony Gumatauto. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, moving on to item 6, correspondence. Maria?
Mr. Chair, we, after discussing with the legal counsel, we did send notices to the GVB board, and they have been submitting their conflict of interest statements. As soon as we get the complete ones, I think almost all of them, I checked on my desk, and some have submitted again. So I'm hoping that it's complete by today, and we'll send it to Senator Tello.
Should that be a response to her letter? Is that what?
All conflict of interest statements, that's all. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners on that issue? Move on to item B.
Mr. Chair, item B and C are folks that are interested in being on our general election ballot for the straw poll vote. I will get with the legal counsel to respond to them, sir. And we, based on what has happened in the past, we expect a few more.
So on item B, that the letter was for the Democratic primary. Are we responding to that? Because, I mean, our primary here is in August. The conventions will be over before then. I know this, the item C, the third letter there is for the straw poll in November, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, I will talk with legal counsel and respond.
Okay. And how do we determine if other presidential candidates are requesting to be on that November stroke ballot?
The law says about if they're from a party that's recognized on Guam, we put them on the ballot, I think. Yeah, that's, if they're from a party recognized on Guam, we put them on the ballot.
Okay. And the party recognized in Guam is determined by law, or is it with the election commission?
No, so, no.
Because
no,
this
no,
item C
yeah.
is
Mr.
Jill Stein is another party.
Yeah. Sir, from our practice in the past, and I think it's by law, it's whoever has candidates on the ballot. So it's Democrat and Republican, yeah.
We had other third parties in the last presidential election.
We'll look into it.
Yeah, Green
don't
Party, I
think-
know, was
did
one
they
of them.
They got on the ballot?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll look into it, sir.
It's just, like, how do we determine who? You're going to get these kinds of requests, I'm sure, coming up.
Yes.
And, because this one letter stated they went into our website to look, to see how they can get on the straw poll. So, okay, yeah, if you can
Yes, I'll
clarify
get
that.
with them and we'll
Okay, any-
report back next week.
Any questions from the commissioners on that item, B and C? Okay, moving on to the next item, Executive Director's Report.
So that starts on page 18. And we have for the month of, for the rest of January and February, we have that. And then the longer, up until the end of the general up until the end of the election cycle follows. We also have a special election timeline as well there. I did testify this morning as being ministerial in nature. The senators are thinking they'll fast track it. They asked me what would be the trigger date to make sure that, what's the trigger date for GEC? I said, we're preparing, March 9th is the election, but I focused in on that February 20, the notices of election are expensive, so. And then I did notify them that $25,000 is the estimated cost for a special election. With regard to the timeline, if anybody has questions or the letters have gone out, sir, to our stakeholders with regard to the primary election. We've also sent the letter out to the governor with regard to the special election proclamation.
Okay.
We did get a call because for the special election, we indicated that we sent a letter to DOE about the special election, and I got a call from the principal of CL Titano this afternoon that I'll return, and I will notify them that, we're still going on as planned. It's March 9th. I haven't heard yet back from Bishop with regard to using it as a polling site for the special, so I'll follow up again.
Okay.
I guess they're waiting for confirmation from the Chancery, I think. There was a letter written to, there was an email
use
written
the
to Father
facility.
Romy
Yeah.
to get permission to use the
So
facility.
right now we have, so the planning for the special election for the vice mayor of Sinajana will go on until the legislature decides or passes a bill to cancel that, right? Signed by the governor. So if that passes this month, then the planning is off. Right now, we have CL Titano, the current location for the precinct, but we're also looking at Bishop Baumgartner. We've approached them. We've not got confirmation from them yet as a alternative polling site. One of those two will be it, if we proceed on with the special election. Okay, any questions from the commissioners on that item?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, from the timeline, we want to get approval for the ballot design for the retirement election, and that appears on page 27. And this is the same ballot that we've used in the past. We do, if you remember, we do hand count these ballots. So it'll be for 2 seats for active and 2 seats for retirees.
Okay, so just for public information, the Guam Election Commission is charged with administering the Government of Guam Retirement Fund Board of Trustees election. And so this is the design of the ballot that they need approval from the commission. 2 actives and 2 retirees, correct? Okay, any,
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman?
okay, motion to approve and accept the ballot as the draft ballot as presented. Is there a second to that motion? It's on page 27.
27, Commissioner Tony.
Page 20 says draft ballot on
Yeah.
the top. Yeah. So there's a motion on the floor to approve the ballot. I need a second.
I'll go ahead and second.
Okay, second by Commissioner Joe Mafnas. Any further discussions? All those in favor say aye.
Yeah.
Opposed? Okay. Next item.
The monthly voter by precinct appears on page 28. We now have 55,951 voters. From December, we have 55,951 voters.
So the current voting, registered voters is 55,951 with the additional 375 increase as of November 25th.
And if you notice, the motor voter one, right behind it, that's where most of our voters came from.
Yeah. Have we, is there any further action on identifying the additional new precinct locations as we discussed in previous meetings? Other options for us to consider in specific villages that we want to either possibly change the location?
It was, there was another one, but in Dededo, there are other schools. But in the past, it's too spread out. But we're now, we can be at Okudu and Liguan right now. There's Atacao on the other side of Dededo. There are no bigger venues than those. The gym in Dededo doesn't have air conditioning. In Jigo, the gym doesn't have air conditioning. And F. Guerrero and DL Paris, even the walkways leak. So our voters going to and from there, we don't, sir, indebted, it's the mall, but you saw how expensive it was when they bid for the early voting. It was, and then in Jigo, I don't know where else.
Yeah, Jigo's a challenge, I think.
And that's the 2 biggest villages.
Umatic is the other one, right? That, or Matak is the other. It's always at the mayor's lanai.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know we've discussed it in the past, and I think with the election coming up in August,
The other thing to do, sir, is to look and see if the commissioners are into realigning the precincts with early voting. And we look at the history from 20 and 22 to see if we can realign the precincts so that we have a less number of precincts to spread across the polling sites.
Yeah, because early voting is 30 days now, right? It'll be 30 days.
It starts
yeah.
30 days, yeah.
Yeah.
And that takes, I don't remember the percentage of how many vote early, but that group, early voting, those that participate in early voting is growing.
Yeah, it was like, I thought it was like 20%, 20 or 30% showed up for early voting.
And if they already voted early, we can accommodate, the number of people that we have to accommodate on election day would be lower.
Yeah.
I just have one. Maria, I know that I've been humping on this. I know that Jigu is second biggest voter, right? But the facilities that we're using, it's always a problem. One of them is the lighting,
Thank you.
and of course the walkway.
Yeah.
So is there any way that we can research somewhere up in Jigu or anyway? I mean, I know it's.
Yeah, sir, with the request for the church to use Bishop, that may be a signal that we can use the social hall at the church.
Yeah, I remember when Alice was shared that one is for babies to try to find other avenues rather than just public school.
Okay, and then the other one, is it Jehovah Witness right before the Anderson front gate? That, I don't know what that looks like, but we've passed by, and Joe and I have looked into there too. So those are the two only in Jigo.
Yeah, I think the issue with the Catholic Church there is, because this goes all the way to 8 o'clock at night. And it's a Saturday, at least for the primary, I think they have
The Mass.
The Mass at 6
Yeah.
o'clock.
They
So-
may not allow us
Yeah.
to be there, but
Maybe you have your people recon areas update that we can look at. I mean, it's.
Yeah,
it's
sir,
already
we even
January
have,
and-
we've involved our mayors in this thing, and, just like what we find even in Agate, it's a problem with Ocean View, and between Ocean View and Marshall, it's something unless,
yeah. So I think you mentioned realignment, at least give us a draft
okay,
of what the staff would propose for, as part of a realignment of precincts. Because it's true, with early voting, 30 days of early voting should capture a good chunk of the voters. I mean, our intent is to do better than 56% turnout. Let's target 65%. But that's the whole intent of early voting, is turn out the votes, but that didn't really happen in this last election. So it's access. We need to provide access to voters so they can show up. But yeah, if the staff can give us a realignment plan of what is going to be feasible,
yeah, and Mr.
and
Chairman.
do it early enough,
Yeah.
because it's,
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, if we go across the island as a whole, the only other bigger venues, or, not as big as what where we're at right now, are the churches, both Catholic and Protestant.
okay.
Yeah, this one.
I'm sorry?
Maria,
There's a
on,
Dominican school up there.
Yeah, they're,
The gymnasium?
yes, but the Dominic,
Auditorium there.
yeah.
on the realignment, how soon can you present that to us so that, and the reason why I said that is because, we need to put this out because, you know,
Yeah.
voters will be confused and some of them don't even, they'll
That's
use
the
this as an
hard- yeah.
excuse that they don't read the paper or they don't, you know, so we need to make sure that they're out if we're gonna do a realignment.
We'll get it to you for the next meeting, sir. That what we'll do is we'll just base it on we'll just base it on what we've done for for early voting, and know that the law says that it's substantially over cannot be substantially over 800 per precinct.
Per precinct, that.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other thing also, I know that maybe this is a long shot, but how soon are we gonna, or are you gonna put up for the venue for the early voting to beat out the three?
It's scheduled, I believe, for
Yeah, it should be there, should be here.
February. February, sir.
Yeah, February.
I didn't even look at that. I missed that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I was wondering if perhaps we should maybe also consider commercial space?
Yeah, I think all
Yeah.
options will depend on the staff, what they looked at,
Yeah.
but commercial space, churches, you know,
Because I know right there by the Guam Business Center, you know,
yeah.
there's a lot of vacant office space there.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll throw out all the options on the table and then see what fits. Again, commercial is going to be rather expensive. They'll probably charge us the current cost per square footage rather than
Well,
the government price.
I'm seeing that as well, but, you know, then you also have like the malls. They have empty spaces at the malls, you know, that could be utilized at all three malls.
The Micronesian Mall, the biggest one, had submitted a bid for early voting.
Yeah.
That was prohibitive.
I think that was the highest
Yeah.
at the time.
Mhm. But we can try again.
Yeah, we can take a look, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, any further discussion on that? Let's move on then to the monthly financial.
It starts on page 34. I'm sorry, 31,
31.
and goes on to page 33, to page 34. We have a financial report for both the general fund and our Harvest Security Grant.
Okay, any questions or discussions from the commissioners? Okay, let's move on to item E, Office of the Inspector General Audit.
Yes, so the Guam Election Commission is in the process, at the end of the process of answering, responding to the EAC Inspector General with regard to the audit findings.
No updates on that?
No.
Any questions, comments from the commissioners? That's ongoing. Let's then move on to the old business items. Item A, Campaign Finance Committee.
Sir, with Alice gone, we need a third member to the Campaign Finance Committee. I believe that's you and Pat Seville, so we probably need a Democrat member for the Campaign Finance Committee.
Okay. Do we do that now?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess whoever would be interested in serving in the Campaign Finance Committee,
You want to take over the finance?
Ricky or?
Okay, Ricky.
Ricky, okay. Okay,
Then
so
we can have a
Ricky,
meeting.
yeah, Ricky Orsino will be the third member of that committee. Okay, item B, Democratic Party of Guam regarding the memorandum order. Where we at with that?
Yeah, that one is the one where we wrote to them and And I met with the chair of the Democratic Party, and he said he wrote to us, but I never received anything. It's about the signatures on the lack of signatures on the resolution. I have no update on that.
So we need the resolution signed by the party. Do we have their bylaws that indicated the closed primary?
No, we don't.
We have we have to have that, right?
Yeah, that's what we need.
Okay.
And we don't have that. And we don't have any updates on what.
So do we just operate without any action on that? Because that was on the table in this last.
Yes, sir, if you, let me follow up with them, with the chairman again. I know they had a resignation of their executive director.
Mr. Chairman, I think we should send them a letter so that we have that documented, rather than,
I think there was a letter.
Yes,
right,
there
that
was.
Followed up on it.
yeah, so, but
Yeah.
if you're
I'll
going to
send
do
it
another,
again.
yeah, another follow-up,
Yes,
let's do it
thank
in
you.
writing so that, we have record that we did reach out, we did contact, and this was the discussion.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think the issue was
Yeah.
that they wanted us to promulgate the rules and regulations for the closed primary. Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
just to echo sorry, Commissioner Penaula. Yeah, about this, we've been humping this for the longest time and still haven't got a response back. So maybe after this letter, we should get something back. If not, then we have to take another avenue. That's not keep on prolonging this.
Yeah, well, if there's no response, there's no response, and there's no action required on the board's part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't want the party to come back to the commissions, as the obligation was on us to come up with the rules and regulations for a closed primary. We
think
want to,
we're
we want to move on that, but we want to get a firm commitment from the party via signed resolution by the party, and the bylaws have to indicate that you're doing a closed primary.
Correct. As long as we do our due diligence, I think we'll be fine.
Okay. Let's go to item C then, election manual update.
The draft will be presented in February, sir.
Okay. Okay, any questions from the commissioners? Item D, modernizing election process, the e-poll book. Where we at?
Jack will prepare the IFB for the February meeting.
Okay. Okay, that item will be in February. Item E, the 2023 Council on Government Ethics Laws Annual Conference. This is the trip report, right?
Yes, so it's there as requested by Member Pat Seville.
Yeah, I read the report. I think it's a little bit, lots more thorough for Pat.
Thank you.
Yep. Too bad he's not here, so.
Yeah.
Okay, item F, competitive grant application.
I believe the timeline for EAC to notify us is February, so we haven't heard.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr.
Discussions? Yeah.
Chair, the class that we were supposed to start this spring semester, thankfully, will be canceled because we don't have any students. But for me, it's strategic because we don't need them until the primary. So I'm going to teach it in the summer, and hopefully we hear from the EAC to see, I'm not banking on it, but just in case, then we can market it more, we can market the class and let them know if we get the grant that we can subsidize their tuition.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's move on to item G, the FY25 budget request. You're going to need a motion on this
Yeah.
too, right?
Yes, a draft was presented, sir, last meeting, and we have it here. It's due to the legislature on January 31st. We are looking right now at 2.3.
2.3 million?
3 million.
On page, if you look at the budget digest, on page 7 of 16,
Yeah. So what is the difference with this FY '25 compared to the, oh, it's right here, FY
Yeah.
'24?
and so our 25 budget is, our odd year budget is normally higher
Yeah.
because it's the primary election that also includes preparation for the general election. And sir, like the special election that's coming up, that's something, if we require, if there's additional costs, that may be something for this current budget year requirement.
Oh, yeah, that's not, we
No.
didn't build that into this, right?
Yeah, no, not built into that.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, Commissioner
Um,
Montes.
I was looking at your organizational chart here. How long has this thing, this vacant program coordinator one has been? And the reason why I ask, because sometimes when you present budget to the legislature, when it's not filled, they just strike it out.
Yeah, or they'll eliminate it.
Yeah. And are you trying to fill that position or what?
Yeah, we actually, sir, we actually underfilled one position with an election clerk. We're looking for campaign finance. So come April, we should be able to update it. We start picking up our temporaries for, and hopefully we are looking for, from them, sometimes we pick up somebody that will fit into our, to the needs for the regular employees. So we're really looking for somebody for campaign finance. We have somebody now and we need one more as a program coordinator.
Okay. I just want to make sure because, I don't want it to be strike out when you present your budget.
Yes. So when we go meet with the Office of Finance and Budget, if you notice, the election clerks on the next page
Yeah.
says, oh, vacant. So in past practice, even like the program coordinator one, they leave it on because they know it's inherent with the needs of the election.
Well, I know, but it's okay. We'll see. Thank you.
Okay, any discussions or questions from the commissioners, on the budget? You need a motion to pass this
Yes,
budget?
Yes.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Gumatauto to accept the FY 2025 budget. Is there a second to the motion?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Commissioner Pinala. Any further discussions on the budget? Okay, all those in favor of the motion to accept the FY fiscal year 2025 budget signify by saying aye. Oppose? Okay, the budget is accepted. Okay, let's go into item H, the special election, Vice Mayor of Sanhanya.
Packets are available now. No one has picked up packets. Oh, somebody did?
No one has picked up?
Oh. Who? I'm just getting word that somebody picked up a packet while I was gone.
But we have given public notice that the packet is available.
Yeah, so
Already?
pick up for Senado.
Well, I've announced it on the radio. We haven't put out a public notice, sir. It's on our website.
Yeah, somebody picked, well,
Yeah.
based on that, somebody picked. Okay. I mean, we're proceeding on with the election as planned until we hear otherwise from the legislature. So, okay. What is the, Maria, can you run through the deadlines again for that special election submittal?
So, yeah, the deadline to file is February 8th. Deadline to file packets is February 8th. The packet became available last Friday. We have to publish the proclamation February 8th as well. That would, sir, that would be the, that's the only mandate publication. It's up on our website already. Mayor Hoffman and I sat there, and he's also aware of the special election timeline. Then the next one would be, we will close registration so that we can make sure we have a good voter list. And we close registration on February 23rd. We have sent out the letters for precinct officials to the parties for precinct officials. And so their deadline is February 12th to submit nominations for the precinct officials. And we will start appointing them, and then we will start training them. Again, I was asked this morning what would be a good trigger date, and I think we said February 26th is when we start in office and homebound voting on February 26th if there's no law by then.
Yeah. And the election is March
9th.
9th? Okay. Okay, any questions, discussions from the commissioners? That's it for the special election? Okay. Let's move on then to new business. U.S. Election Assistance Commission visit. Item 8.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, we have with us today, they've been here since Sunday, and they visited Rhoda and Saipan. We visited Rhoda and Saipan as well. We have with us, starting from the right, is U.S. Commissioner Don Palmer directly from the U.S. Election Assistance Commission. This is our third commissioner who's visited Guam, and there's 4 of them altogether. Next to him is Heather Ford, special assistant and legal counsel at Election Assistance Commission, and Hannah Freyer from the U.S. Congressional Committee on House Administration, and she actually works for the Speaker of the House. And next to her is Caleb Hayes. He's General Counsel for that committee from the U.S. Congressional Committee on House Administration. They've seen Guam, they've seen Rhoda, and they've seen Saipan, and they've seen the differences in how we conduct elections. And just because she's sitting in the back, I need to always acknowledge Kayla Igito, my peer from CNMI. She's been hosting us in Saipan and Rhoda. and showing us the unique challenges of both, being that they conduct early voting and election in 3 different islands, Tinian, Rota, and Saipan. And then they have to accommodate the voters from the northern islands as well.
Okay, well, welcome. I'm glad, I'm sure you're glad you're here compared to the weather in DC. The cold and the snow. But welcome. Okay, let's go to item B, the FY 22-23 election grant, security grant.
Those are waiting for our updates on the budget narrative. As soon as we update those will be released to us. We are working with our grants person from EAC, and we'll report that as soon as it comes.
Okay. Okay, any questions, discussions from the commissioners on that? Item C, the extension of the legal counsel contract, that's on page 40. 40. So Maria, you want to explain the contract and the extension?
The contract is for 5 years. And so, and then we are allowed to extend it for 1 year. I've spoken with our legal counsel, and in review of the past contracts of legal counsel, we do know that we have to send out a request for proposal. But I've tried to argue with him that how can we continue to operate if, the continuity of the service and his institutional knowledge of the Guam Election Commission goes away. So he did say we still have to do the request for proposals, and we'll prepare it for the next meeting.
Okay. So your contract is up? It's coming up? So yeah, so we would have to issue just like our office space, we have to issue a request for proposal, and follow that process, correct? Any questions or discussions with the commissioners on that? And the current contract is this, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to item D, the FY's 22 citizen-centric report.
That's due, sir, before the next meeting. The audit was, the Government of Guam audit was completed, so we'd like to get your approval of issuing this out. This is due to the OPA February 20, in February, I think. But this is the time to get approval from the commission.
So we would have to approve this
Yeah.
report. to
Yes,
issue
and
it.
I would like to request that I can correct it if there are still, it's a little bit difficult because we're just a minuscule part of the Government of Guam audit. So if we make, and the AS400 is just a little bit complicated for us now because of they didn't update the system. So sometimes the charges for one fiscal year appears on another because of our supplemental appropriation that we received. So I respectfully request that, it be approved, and we will make sure it's, Tomas and I will make sure it's correct, and we will submit it, especially if you approve it tonight.
I just have one. Does legal have to play a key role in here too?
Not necessarily, but we can show it to him.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that, we're on the right track by having
Thank
the
you.
legal review it also before you turn it in.
Thank you.
So is this, I mean, why is it FY '22? Are we behind
Oh,
in
no.
filing the centric report?
No, we're not behind, sir. We just have to wait for the general audit of the
To be
government of
completed.
Guam to be
And
completed.
then this is part of that?
Yeah, yes.
Because we're in FY
Cool,
'24.
but it's that,
Yeah.
that's the cycle. It takes that long to audit, and our current public auditor keeps tabs on that.
Okay, there's a motion, is there a motion on the floor to accept the citizen-centric report for the Guam Election Commission?
With,
With any subject to corrections or revisions? Okay, so moved by Commissioner Tony Gumatao. Is there a second on that motion to accept the centric report? Second by Commissioner Ricky Orsini. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? Okay, so that's adopted. Okay, moving on then to item
All the
C,
bills.
I mean, item D, which is, or did that D, so we have a slew of legislative bills. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, there's several of them, right? You want to kind of just summarize quickly on
yes, so
what they are?
most of it, sir, are from our recommendations that we submit every odd year on June 30th. So the first one is to not have to publish the write-in votes. We can put it up on, if it doesn't affect the results of the election. If you know, we all know that takes a lot out of the out of the commission, especially after the election. But that's up. That was taken on by the Senator Roy Kinata. The second one, and all of these were proposed by Senator Roy Kinata, except the last one, letter L. The second one, the public auditor and the attorney general of Guam. I believe that's with the, I'm sorry, I don't remember if this is the one that says they take out the,
Primary, they go right to the general election?
yeah,
No primary?
I think, no, not in the primary.
Yeah, there's no primary for them, so
Yeah.
so who's running in this goes right to the general election.
Hungan,
Unlike
yes. Mm-hmm.
the way it is now, where you have the same people running the primary, or the same ones running in the general election.
Typically, if they only
There's
have
only
two
two,
candidates, yeah, because the
Okay.
two go to the general. The next one is the, getting the Guam Police Department involved with the electioneering. It's just, in the past, they don't get involved, so they want to put it in law that GPD gets involved with the electioneering.
This is the, so many feet,
100 feet, yeah.
all the
Uh-huh.
polls.
Oh, yes, and as you know, it's been only the GEC that does it, and when Commissioner Joe goes there and tells them, move back 100 feet, as soon as he leaves, they go back. And so, this is the hope. Yes, yes, right, so it's UMATIC, PD, and I don't remember, but the law allows the commission to make exceptions to this in the case of safety. Okay? The next one is provisional ballots, and I believe this is just to say that we can count the provisional ballots on after the 10th day. So this only accommodates us looking at the provisional ballots with the absentee ballots at the same time. And again, these all come from the GEC recommendations in the Election Comparative Analysis Report. The I is about registration, and this has to do with making sure that we close 21 days before for online and motor voter. And then J is just in the definitions in Chapter 1 of the Election Code, sir. They mixed up the definition of a precinct and a district, so that was just to correct, yeah, that's just to correct it.
Okay. No, and of course, the last is the
Yeah,
abolishment of the
yes.
Sinania Vice Mayor position.
So, public hearings have not been scheduled for this. As you know, our oversight chair is still off island, and his trip got extended because of a death in the family. They only expect him in on Thursday next week. Public hearings may then be scheduled. So these are the recommendations that have been made, maybe more than once. I can take a look at the bill with the legal counsel and prepare testimony for this in line with our recommendations that have been approved by the commission in the past.
Yeah. Okay.
If that's okay with the commission.
Yes. Any questions or discussions for the commission?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just real quick on the bill number 219-37 core. Not only does it change the definition of the precinct to a district and defining, but it also defines the name of a candidate or nominee. So when you look at subsection 1123, the name, in case of a candidate's nominee, the word name shall mean the name that appears on his or her United States birth certificate, United States passport, certificate of naturalization, court order, name change, certificate of marriage, or any identification meeting the Real ID Act. Requirement issued by a state anywhere in the title of the word name appears in this definition should apply. So on the ballots now that we're printing, is it just going to be their birth name? There's no...
It does make note that if the name changes, they will submit, the ID that they bring to us. And in most cases, Commissioner Benny, of course, we look at also their ID and the affidavit of registration. The current law, as it stands, does not indicate, if you remember back in 2014, what was that election when Ken Paris was still around, when 2014, the issue came up with whether it's a legal name or not. And when we looked into it, he wasn't here yet, we found out, and that hence the recommendation, the subsequent recommendation was to make sure that it's clear that it's the legal name. When we do the candidate seminar, we do stress that the nominating petitions reflect the legal name of each candidate.
But on the ballot, it can be...
No, it
It has
has
to
to be
say-
the legal name.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
It has to be the legal name.
Okay.
And are you questioning, like, if I got married?
No,
Okay.
I'm just thinking like, a candidate will be
They put
so-and-so, their moniker, who they are.
Yeah.
You know.
No, yeah. I cannot write Mary if my name is Maria. And that there was issue with that in 2014.
Okay, so you can't put malfunction on there, nothing
You can do that on the second line.
on the second
Yeah,
line?
there's two
Yes.
lines.
Okay.
Yeah, so that doesn't really change what is there now, it's just the
No, it just-
formal name is still.
I just wanted to double check, make sure it's clarified, right?
Yeah.
Just follow up on that, Maria. I know what the composition of the law is, but If we do have a write-in, where does that come into play now?
That would be typically the decision of, I'm sorry?
There's a separate law that
Yeah.
talks about what needs to be for write-ins.
Uh-huh. And then the commissioners as a whole become involved with whether to accept that name or not.
Yeah, because
you
every
can
election
talk.
we have problem with that. So I guess with that.
Yeah, so remember what happens is individuals submit different variations.
Correct.
For you guys to consider, and then you guys consider what would be counted on the ballots for that time, at that time.
Okay.
So with these bills, Mr. Chair, I request that should the public hearings be set on the premise that these were recommendations from election comparative analysis reports of the past that have gone to the legislature and that have been approved by the commission, I request that that we get permission for legal counsel and myself to put testimonies together should the public hearings be scheduled before the next meeting or outside of the next meeting.
Okay. Was there any objections to that?
Would the commissioners get a chance to review your submission prior?
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then I won't be able to submit it if the public hearing is scheduled before the next meeting. So these recommendations are based on the commission as a whole, our recommendations to the legislature that have been submitted, I think maybe
past.
even 3 election cycles in the past that have passed. So these you see in the election comparative analysis reports.
Okay.
And-
It's just that we have new commissioners
Yes.
that weren't involved 3
So-
elections ago. and-
Okay, and we can get the election comparative analysis reports available to you if you, I mean, it's up to the commission to let me know how to handle it. And I can let the legislature know.
Okay. But I know some of these are recommendations from the commission, so it'll be consistent with what we've discussed in past, yeah. Okay. Okay, no objections
that's good,
from
yeah.
getting a testimony set? I mean, the public hearing, of course, has to be scheduled and allows us enough time.
I'd support Commissioner Pinela's wish to at least see
See
the
the draft.
the draft testimony.
Okay.
So if that was a motion, I'd second it.
Do you need a motion for that? I
No,
think it's just an
no,
objection,
no,
just to accept,
no,
yeah.
yes.
Okay. As long as it's consistent with what we've discussed and passed in the past. But
Yeah, can I just recommend, so once we're done drafting, we'll circulate it, and if the commissioners have any substantial changes, then we have to wait to the next meeting, right? But if there are no substantial changes, then
Yeah.
Maria can get the go-ahead to submit it. But I think you guys need to see it first. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause some of them are pretty significant.
Some of them are very like, it's just cleanup. It's a lot of administrative cleanup
I don't know about
stuff.
the first bill, the write-in, you gotta publish all the write-in.
Yeah.
That was,
See how many Mickey Mouse gets, Donald Duck, and.
No, I just think it's, good, practice that the commissioners are kept in the loop.
But
Yeah.
that one could be contentious, because you know how some people who actually have active write-in campaigns, they want to know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
right? And so remember the last time we had active write-in campaigns, we didn't delineate, we just said there was 10,000 write-ins, and we
Yeah.
did not identify who they were, and some of them wanted to know.
Yeah.
With the new system, you can do that, right?
yes, so with the tabulation equipment we have, it takes a picture of the ballot, so we can always go back, but it would take the commission as a whole to approve opening up the ballot,
Again.
unsealing the ballot envelopes again.
Yeah. So like, I know the write-ins, if we allow them 5 variations of name, thinking they're the same. So Joe Cruz, Cruz Joe, whatever. When we publish that, if this passes, Joe Cruz gets 100 votes, Cruz Joe gets 10. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
So our thinking is it's the same person, but we're not, for purpose of the election, it's not really the same person.
Yeah, and I think that's why the legislation it's only published if it affects
Yeah.
Yeah.
the election.
I think that's the problem with the variations. They should just write in one name and that's the name, it's, okay. That's it for the bills. Let's move on to legal counsel's report.
Just an update with regard to the appeal before the Ninth Circuit. So as you know, the Attorney General, based upon the Guam Supreme Court's decision with regard to that public law, which basically says the law is invalid, the Attorney General has stayed or requested the Ninth Circuit to stay the appeal. He's going to appeal the Guam Supreme Court's decision to the U.S. Supreme Court. And so that's where we are right now. So it's...
Okay. Any further, this is going to be ongoing, I'm sure. Okay, let's move on to public participation, public comments. I don't know if you want to make any comments. This is your opportunity to do that. Yeah.
Mr. Chair. My name is Donald Palmer. I'm with the U.S. Election Assistance Commission. I'm a commissioner there, and as your executive director said, there's been a number of us over the last 4 or 5 years that have visited Guam, and we take our jobs very seriously in supporting states and territories across the country. We have a board of advisor board, which your executive director serves and advises us on standards to voting systems and other things. She's, in fact, on the executive committee of that. Well, we really appreciate what you are doing, with this commission. We sort of support and work with boards, commissions across the country, the directors and election offices. That really is our mandate. And so it really is a privilege to visit, and we've been able to talk about important issues, everything ranging from accessibility of voting to uniform and overseas voting, which is, obviously an issue, voting at a polling place, voting absentee. And so we really appreciate the hospitality and the ability to visit places like Rota and the Mariana Islands, the Commonwealth. And so we really appreciate your hospitality. We're with the U.S. Election Assistance Commission. The House Administration of Committee, I'm going to turn it over to them, but we really work together. We've really talked a lot about how we can support the territories more and make sure that what is due is due, and so I'm going to let them say a few words.
Good evening. My name is Caleb Hayes. I'm General Counsel with the U.S. House Committee on House Administration. That name doesn't mean a lot for why we're here, but we are the committee with jurisdiction over all federal elections in the country. And over the past handful of years, we've really engaged in making sure that we are on the ground learning about the unique successes and challenges that face states and territories across the country. Guam and the CNMI were our number 3 and number 4 of the territories, and we've now hit about half of the states and territories. And I have to say that at each visit, our main goal really is to highlight the successes. There's so much good work that is happening in U.S. elections across the country, thanks to commissions like the GEC, thanks to your professional staff. And we really want to be able to highlight how you have succeeded and share that with your sister territories and with the states. So our main focus is building voter confidence. We've been very excited and informed to spend this week with Maria and with Kayla from the CNMI to learn about the challenges facing CNMI with getting ballots to the Northern Islands, and the successes that they have there with voter turnout, and Maria and her staff, and learning about serving the people of Guam and the stability of your election system. I think many of those items are things that we are going to be able to share as we speak with our members and folks across the country. So thank you very much for having us.
Great. Any further comments? Welcome again. We had a visit by Tom Hicks several weeks ago. That was very fruitful for us. I think Maria ran him across the island, took him to funerals and mass, and he's not even a Catholic, right? So, Maria, you want to add anything?
Yes, if you look at them, I think Kayla tired them out too. So, but we'll see them again tomorrow night. Sir, there are 4 commissioners on the U.S. Election Assistance Commission, and Guam has been visited with 3. Christy McCormick, who I think most of you met, back in 9 years ago, so maybe not.
Yeah.
Anyway, she didn't visit Saipan nor Rhoda, so hopefully she and the 4th commissioner will come out and see what's going on this side of the world. Captain Smith from Kamnavmar, the chief of staff there, has said that a good time for our visitors to come back is when the military buildup comes, and how many people will be here?
Between 5,000 and 10,000.
By next year even, right? Yeah, by next year, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you again. Welcome.
Thank
The next item is our next meeting. That's February.
Sir, since we still have the special election, we have a tentative date for the ratification of candidates for the special election on February 9th.
Okay.
It's a Friday. So if that's something that's okay.
Yeah, so this is the ratification of those that have submitted their qualifications to run for vice mayor of Sinahan, February 9th.
It's a Friday. It's typically not when we meet, but
But if the legislature passes this bill by the end of this month, because they have session coming up, right?
yes,
Yeah.
next week,
Then-
next
then,
week.
Yeah,
And,
but we'll just go on. We'll just proceed as planned. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So,
so the next meeting to ratify the candidates for the vice mayor is February 9th at 5:30?
yes, and that will be our regular monthly meeting for February.
Okay. so-
Hopefully, we won't require another meeting after that.
Yeah, so February 9th,
February 9 at 5:30.
5:30. Yeah, here at the GEC
yes.
office. So we'll ratify the, if there's an election, we'll ratify the
If there's-
candidates,
yeah.
and then it'll be our regular meeting. Okay? Okay, other than that, I entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting until February 9th at 5:30. Is there a motion by Commissioner Tony Gamatauta? Is there a second? Motion to adjourn? Second by Commissioner Penala. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, so we are adjourned. It is now 6:38. Told you, it's got to be an hour or a little bit
A little bit over now.